Our next guest's fourth novel, Speaking of Summer, arrives July 30th from Counterpoint Press. The novel has already been named Best Of by Essence, O Magazine, Ms. Magazine, Time, and many more. Her other novels have won awards from the National Book Foundation, the American Library Association, Friends of American Writers, and others. Places her short works appear include Oxford American, Fiction International, Michigan Quarterly Review, and Revise the Psalm, a celebration of Gwendolyn Brooks from Curbside Splendor. She herself appears in shows on BET, Investigation Discovery, and TV One as a true crime case commentator. Please welcome Kalisha Buckhanon.
Good idea. Yeah. Right. Little people. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to read from the finished book for the first time. So thank you so much, Eden and Andrew, and everyone who's here for listening. So the novel is about a woman who's looking for her twin sister, and she's living in Harlem, and it just becomes a whirlwind, a spiral. She can't get any help. There is just nothing happening for her. And so she, in her search for her sister, she finds a lot out about herself. In this part I'm going to read, there are four major characters: the narrator, the woman looking for her sister, a neighbor, because we all have to have the neighbors, and a detective. So there's one man who cares. And so this part, the narrator believes the sister has returned to her. That's just how far this whole thing's gone. She slipped back into our home so soundlessly. When I heard the running water and tinkling dishes in the morning, what I found in our kitchen did not shock me. She stood as lanky and slight as she was the first time I saw her, cleaning up the mess I couldn't believe I let myself get used to. We were raised so much better. Autumn, please call me back. It's Noel Montgomery. Detective, call me as soon as possible. I flipped through journals for blank pages to write love letters to her. There was so much worth keeping from it all. So much more than rocking chairs and hats on tables. The prettiness of our colorful bike tassels fluttering like wings in the wind. The slapstick clown and pantomimist who performed for kids at the county fair. The crackle of popcorn kernels exploding in our cast iron skillet. The delicious but stolen wafers left over from communion we weren't qualified to have, found on the altar of the Catholic school chapel where we waited on our late mother. Shortbread cookies Grandma bought in bulk when Girl Scout troops came around. The first sloppy tries at lip gloss and sparkly eyeshadow and glitter nails. The thrill of boy toys like swords and balls and train sets. And still, the calm predictability of our collector dolls in taffeta with pearls in their ears. Autumn, one of your neighbors buzzed me in, but you didn't answer. They said you sound home, so that's good to know. But I'd also love to hear how you're doing. It's Noel Montgomery. Call me back. Clients called. I didn't answer or respond. So their double talk began with customary salutations about Mondays and Fridays. Then it veered into veiled warnings about non-payable invoices. They finally cracked to blatant complaint and contract suspicions in the language of consulted on paraphrased legalese. Now, my one client, Norma Roth, was different. She was set for slow season after her spike of summer hires returned to college or grad school. She called me not to do more work for her, but to refer some girls to her temp agency. I would. Our cabinets grew more and more spare. Summer had to grocery shop. She took charge of those things. I was out of money after all. We were down to oatmeal, couscous, quinoa, frozen California blend, and stockpiled tomato paste for vitamin C cravings. The tea party was nice. Even Asha said so. She came up from her apartment. Summer and I set it up nicely for her. "Girl, I've been calling you," she said, when her knocks escalated and I finally opened. "What's up?" "Oh, nothing. I'm just having tea. Care to join me?" "Loose, I hope," Asha said. "I told you that bleach in bags causes cancer." "And I heard you," I said. "It's just been really busy. Forgive me." Asha left and returned with the blessed meal: curry chicken, cornbread, baked sweet potatoes, and collards sauteed with olive oil and soy bacon bits instead of pork. I love Asha. Summer was exhausted, figuring out what we were supposed to do now. I pointed to my sister's closed bedroom door as I did get rather lively with Asha. "You know, I have a guest in town from back home," I smiled. "Sorry, but she's kept me really busy. She's sleeping now, but maybe we could all go out later." "Why didn't you tell me you had a guest?" Asha said. "I would have brought more. Pack a portion. I don't want to be rude." No, I'm just glad you came. I would introduce you, but..." We set her pots, my plates, and teacups on Grandma's old maroon blanket in the corner near Mama's unhung and unsold paintings, drawings, and collages. Asha complimented my mother's genius. She poured more tea. She did not drink immediately. She wanted to read the leaves. The food reminded my belly what normal should feel like. As I ate seconds, I heaped the remainder of the cooking into Tupperware. Asha gave me a renewed cup. "Drink until it's just a little left." I was surprised the water felt tepid, not hot. Asha was surprised I drank so fast. She became serious and stared through the dark liquid. "So, the leaves have separated well, haphazardly but still unpacked. You are working out issues in your soul that clogged you up. And I'm obligated to say this. Money's coming." I was grateful, and I committed to making a party date before my guests left town. "Autumn, Montgomery here again. I saw your lights on last night, but you didn't answer your bell. Your neighbor said you have a visitor? I'm really glad you have care. Call me." The bubble bath was all gone. Body wash didn't lather as well. Summer didn't mind. There was enough for the both of us. We touched our knees in the water like we did when we were little girls. We played cruise ships with the bottles floating to the top. We went all around the world to all the places we promised each other we would go together. We splashed and ran hot water when the bath grew cold. We let the water rise too high, so high it spilled over the ledge when we scooted to shut the faucet off. And we laughed because we would be in trouble now, but not really. Grandma's spanking never hurt, or Big Mama's. "Hi, Autumn. Noel Montgomery again. Listen, I'm sorry if I upset you with our last conversation. That wasn't my intent. I thought it would help you to hear what I thought. Maybe I was wrong. I'd really like for you to call me so we can discuss this case further. I can help." It was our birthday now. Some friends mailed a card. Asha hung one from my doorknob, taped on a sack of homemade shea butter mixed with almond oil to sweeten the spell. The last man I slept with called, but not about that. He didn't know my birthday. My ex stood his ground, a move of such angering finality I fantasized storming into Swag's offices. Summer could do the injuring. I could watch. We had nothing left in the apartment to make a cake, but I knew where dessert might be left over. I would be offered more than I could stand, and it would be so good, so very good. But then I would have to go out and leave her behind. And then my sister could not understand I would return, so I stayed. "Autumn, it's Detective Montgomery calling you the last time. You know, I could walk away if I have to. I still have concerns, but it's your choice. I hope you're well. You can always stop in or call anytime." With my sister back, the apartment expanded to grandness. It was ornate, affluent, and pristine. The view was higher. There was a chill, but the seasons were changing. In the night, I opened my eyes and she was there again, but in a new way now. She was out of my mind. That's where she had been. She was my imagination. I could do that. I only knew she was out of my mind because she was now form and shape without color or detail, like a woman dipped in dirt our mother ate as we stole the iron in our blood for ourselves. The shape of her face told me she smiled, and she came to my own tiny bed where I was lying, and this was strange, not the way things should be. I have to control the story. But she came closer and closer to sit next to me and rub me with her hands rough like dried mud, and her shoulders broadened, her legs lengthened, and her arms stretched. No caress, a hard press. It was a smashing, her heaviness. I couldn't move or breathe or speak. I could feel myself push up against her, but nothing changed. Then she was gone. Just like that. I could breathe again. I knew it was not her. I was scared. I needed my lights, but the lamp and switch had erased somehow. So did all the neighbors' windows I could jump out of. I forgot about the lights because I knew the way, and it wasn't even the dead of winter. This time, I would leave no footprints in the snow. I would be She-Ra and fly away. I was relieved I could move again. I leaped out of bed. There was only the door now. I came through it, wanting to see the stairwell. But my sister was there, blocking the rooftop door. She was all figure and mud and no face, and something like two tiny horns on her head now. And she walked forward, and I backed up. She moved faster than I did. She did not care if I fell back in our long hallway, so I turned and I ran back to my tiny head. By the time I pulled the covers over my head, all my room's contents had erased. She twisted around the door jamb, ran to the bed again, next to me and then over me. And then this time, when she pressed her dry, dirty body onto mine, I carried no breath to make the sound of help. I tried. I felt it was in there, but it just wouldn't push up. I kept pushing for something deep inside of me to make the words, but there was nothing inside, not even the energy. No mouth, no syllable, no whispers. The whole world was hard mud with no oxygen. I was going to die now. Hello. Hello. Oh yes, this is Detective Montgomery's residence.